Nearly 1 in every 2 people in the world feel more self-doubt than self-love. That's nearly half the population that, for lack of better words, hates themselves more than they love themselves. This is the result of a study done by a wellness company known as The Body Shop, where they surveyed over 22,000 people from 21 different countries, surveying them on their wellness, well-being, happiness. The average score was a 53 out of 100. I do want to note that this is a relatively small sample size from a limited number of countries, but the message remains clear. There's a global self-love crisis. When you're lying on your deathbed, okay, sorry to get morbid, that is crazy. I have a point. There's a point here. When you're lying on your deathbed, when you're about to walk into the light, you're gonna be seeing a lot of things flashing before your eyes, and a lot of people flashing before your eyes, a lot of memories. There's one constant throughout it all, and that's you. You were there for every memory, every high, every low, and all the in-betweens. You were the person that you spend the most time with, so you would think that you'd want to put effort into knowing yourself, into being kind to yourself, and into loving yourself. And that is what we will be talking about today in the first episode of season 2, you guys. I'm so excited to be back. I took a long time, looked inward, reflected, as we all should, and I learned more about myself. I learned more about where I want to take the podcast, where I want to take my life. And I think I know actually that I'm in a better place than I ever was. Even better 2 years ago when I had season 1. And I'm just so excited to be back. I was being selfish, if you will, but I'm back in the studio and I'm here to stay and I'm so excited about it. Also, if anyone's new listeners or new viewers, if you're watching the YouTube version, welcome. I'm Chadd and this is Selfish, the podcast all about being selfish with a twist. About basically putting yourself first and embracing who you are, your authentic self, and making sure that you live the best life so that you can make your dreams happen and also be the best person you can for yourself and others. Before we get started, grab a drink. I have my coffee, of course, in the cutest little mug if you're watching on YouTube. So yeah, grab a drink, grab your grab your girls, grab your florals. I'm kidding, Blake Lively. Okay, more on pop culture in a later episode. Let's just get started. A lot of people confuse self-love with selfishness or narcissism, when I don't believe this is the case at all. I think it's easy to look at someone taking care of themselves and think, oh, they're being vain. They're doing this all for looks. They're doing this because they want other people to think that they're on top of their game. While that can be true and there are people like that, obviously, guys, and I think everyone has a little bit of that in them. I also think, even for the most vain person, the fact that they're taking care of themselves is a good thing. Self-love, in essence, is frowned upon for, I don't know why. I mean, people have, the most distorted self-image in recent years, I think, than ever before. And I saw this TikTok one time that was humans weren't meant to see their own reflection as much as we do. And I do think that's true. I think it's gotten to a point where we're seeing so much of ourselves that there's a lot to critique, whereas this wasn't the case hundreds of years ago. But unfortunately, that is the reality. We see ourselves all the time. And yeah, you could say, just don't look in the mirror. Don't do this, don't do that. Well, it's kind of hard to avoid. And personally, if you're like me, I love a good mirror. Just want to make sure my hair's looking okay. Which it's actually not today. Thank you so much for that. Okay. But we're going to be seeing ourselves. So it's important that we like what we see. And yes, this can be hard. This can be so very difficult. I understand. And even the way I view myself is not the most perfect thing ever. But it all gets easier when you start to practice more self-love and, liking yourself more. And this goes so beyond looks. This was just the thing that I think the most surface level example. But if you want to dig deeper, I think people are really surprised when they learn about the fact that positive self-talk and self-love can actually make your goals and dreams more achievable. And this is scientifically proven. A good example of this is a psychological concept called the self-fulfilling prophecy, which in essence is a belief or an expectation that influences one's behavior or actions that they take in a way that makes the expectation a reality. You basically have this thought in your mind that it is going to happen. And so you subconsciously take the required steps to make it happen. And this goes both ways. If you are a pessimistic person, you are constantly talking badly about yourself and saying, oh my God, I never leave the house. I have no friends. I'm so sad all the time. Well, unfortunately, that actually reinforces to your brain and body that you don't have friends. And so you will not put yourselves in situations that allow you to make friends. It will not put you in situations that allow you to be happy because you've already decided for yourself that that's not your reality. Let's spin that and say, I surround myself with amazing people. I am constantly feeling happy and fulfilled. Well, interestingly enough, scientifically proven, you guys, you will take steps and put yourself in situations that make that true. You will start seeking out people that actually bring you happiness instead of the people that drag you down or have a negative aura to them. Because it's something that you're more conscious of and unconscious of. Like, it's your subconscious and also like you actively thinking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen because you've set that belief out for yourself. This is similar to the idea of affirmations, but I actually read a book recently that positive self-talk is different than affirmations. The nuances of what make them different, I am not sure. All I know is let's just speak good about ourselves. Like, stay positive, y'all. I mean, I think a good way to put it is positive self-talk is more of a tangible thing and you have more of that expectation that it's gonna happen and it's more like action-based, whereas like saying affirmations is like putting it out there and like putting good energy out there and hoping it returns. Both are equally as important. I think I'm a firm believer in karma and like cosmic energy and all that. And I think, yeah, you want to put out good energy to receive good energy back to you. This can be really difficult when you're seeing like bad people getting good things or good things happening to them, but you never know what's actually going on. Maybe they're the most miserable fuck in the world. You don't know. Actually, I do know. They probably are. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's positive self-talk that they're not feeling so good. Sorry, that's horrible. So it's so easy for me to say like, practice self-love, talk nice about yourself. But what are actual ways that you can do this? Well, the first one is becoming your own best friend. This can sound daunting, or this could even sound cringe, like, honestly, especially if you're coming from the place of like, this whole concept is foreign to you. Like, Chadd, what the F are you talking about? Be your own best friend. I'm like, no, like you sound like a loser. First of all, thank you. Won't take offense to that. No, but seriously, going back to what I was saying, when you're on your deathbed, sitting there, you will have spent the most time in your life with yourself than any other person. More than your parents, more than your kids, more than your best friend, more than your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner. So don't you think you should be your own best friend? I don't care how you spin it. I don't think there's one person who knows every single thing about you, every nuance, every deep desire, secret, everything. Because that's not how we work. There are people that can come super, super close. Of course. The people closest to me, I think, know 99.9% about me. But there's still like the tiniest part that like maybe you don't even realize about yourself. That only you can find out about yourself, that you would never share. This is all to say, you are your number one. At least you should. You should view yourself as number one. You can do this through so many different ways. A couple years ago, I started taking myself out on dates, if you will. Just doing really fun things for me without needing to be codependent or having anyone else there. I still feel like social anxiety in many situations, especially situations where it's like I'm on my own. But you kind of like overcome that, especially when you view it as you're taking yourself somewhere. So I like taking myself to museums. I think that's really fun. Or on different walks. That's like such an easy one. Everyone walks alone sometimes. Do it safely though. But yeah, just different activities where it's like, I don't need anyone else to come with me. This is for me. I want to enjoy it through my own eyes and my own perspective and just enjoy the time alone. Time alone is one of the best things ever. I go both ways. I'm like, obviously time with people is so amazing and needed, but sometimes we neglect time to ourselves just because like we get busy or we don't think it's important, but it is important. not only to recharge, but also to like learn more about ourselves. Sometimes I'll have the best ideas when I'm on my own because you're free to think whatever you want. There's no external influences. It's just you, your dreams, and it's nice. You're just with yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing embarrassing about it. If you want to be successful, and that's one of the reasons why I assume you're listening to this podcast. If you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, you got to think that you are awesome. You have to really believe that you are deserving of all good things to happen to you, because you are. And once you get past that barrier, everything becomes so much easier. You can pursue happiness. You can chase dreams. You can work towards things you never thought you were capable of, because you know that you are worthy of it. And you actually finally believe that. And it all comes from becoming your best friend. Stop sacrificing your authenticity and personality for the sake of someone else's comfort or for the sake of societal norms. It doesn't matter. You can't get to where you want to be by faking it and acting like someone else. Sorry, you can, but you will not be fulfilled. And you won't think that you earned it, and it won't feel happiness. You won't feel happiness, and you won't feel like it's as deserved as it could be. Your most authentic self is the best version of yourself, because it just takes into consideration like who you are as a person when no one else is watching. And that is so scary to think of, acting like yourself, like your true self, like acting like yourself behind closed doors in front of other people. Because I'm sure we all think like we are cringe. There are parts of yourself you'd rather just hide. And that's so fair. And also everyone feels that, so like don't feel embarrassed. But it's so important to learn to overcome that, because there's only one of you. There's only one person that has your unique set of traits and your unique personality, and you offer something to the world that is special, and people should see that. And they should see the true version of it, and not some version that you think people want to see. I spent a long time trying to appeal to the likes of others because I thought it was gonna make me feel better if I felt like I fit in more. All it really did though was make me feel like I had some guard up that prevented people from actually seeing me. And I felt like I wasn't listened to because the person you're acting like isn't you. And so how could anyone actually be your true friend or offer you anything that you really want when they think you're someone completely different? I think one thing that helps in that area of helping find yourself, along with spending that time alone, is finding like-minded people who appreciate you for who you are at your core and not that fake version of you. And there are people like that. It can be hard to find them, yeah, but be patient and they'll come. Because just like you're deserving of happiness and greatness and you deserve to love yourself, you're also deserving of good friends and deserving of surrounding yourself with people who fill your cup and make you happy. But in the meantime, if that's not something you have yet, that's okay. Just work on yourself. Because when you focus on yourself and you take the time and put in the effort to love yourself and make you the most important person in your life, you become more magnetic and you start attracting opportunities and people who are on the same vibrational alignment as you. You just really have to believe it. If you take one thing from this episode, it's that you really have to believe that you deserve good things for good things to happen. And that comes from self-love. I do want to acknowledge that this can be really daunting, and there are a lot of factors that go into self-love, and it can be hard for people to like themselves, let alone love themselves. But trust me when I tell you it's worth it. Take your time. Don't rush it. It'll all fall into place when it's meant to. So where do you think you'd score on the self-love test? Let me know. I'm curious. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Selfish with Chadd. I love you so, so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.